Hello YouTube, welcome to Balkan Shed and thank you for watching. Instead of making just review videos, I also wanted to do something a little bit different. I want to start a new segment on the channel that's called Stories from the Shed. In those episodes, I plan to talk about various different topics. So this will be Stories from the Shed episode 1, in which we will discuss who is Balkan Shed. So let's start. The intent of my channel when I started it, this was about a year ago or so, I was actually at our hunting land. I was doing a review of my Gazelle pop-up tent, and I didn't see a lot of the reviews of that tent in the video, so I decided to do one. And then when I did, I posted it, and there was some interest, which kind of sparked my interest into making more videos. And for about a year now, I've been making them off and on. Sometimes I would kind of get on a going and make 3-4 a month, and then other times I might go 3 months without making one. So I think I'm going to try to keep it regular now and make a couple of videos a month. At least that's my goal. When I started this channel, I thought I was going to get maybe 7,500 followers, mostly friends and family, but over time I got a little bit more than that. I think I'm over 600 followers or subscribers, and a lot of questions that I get is basically pertaining where I'm from, where my accent is, and stuff in that nature. So this first episode of the Stories from the Shed is going to be basically about me, who I am, where I'm from, how I ended up in US and stuff like that. So let's start. My name is Suad. I was born and raised in former Yugoslavia. I lived there until breakup of Yugoslavia. The part I lived at, it's Bosnia now. Bosnia was one of the places that was hit the hardest with war during the Yugoslav wars. We were in the middle of it. We lost everything pretty much in the beginning. Lost our house, got expelled from our town. Our house actually took a direct hit from T-72 tank, or T-84, which was Yugoslav People's Army version of T-72. And then house burned down. So we were hoping that stuff was going to calm down eventually. I mean, every war ends eventually. So we didn't leave the region right away. We're kind of hoping things will go back to normal. We'll be able to rebuild, go back home. But as time passed, 2 years, more than 2 years passed by, stuff wasn't getting any better. So my family decided it was time to leave. So at that time, only places that you could go to were places pretty far away, like US, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, I think Malaysia, and a few other places that were pretty far away. The European countries, they took people in, refugees from the former Yugoslavia at beginning, like Germany, Austria, Switzerland. I had a lot of family members, extended family, that went to those countries, but since we were kind of, I guess now when I look at it, dumbass sticking around when we had a chance to leave earlier, we missed our opportunity and couldn't go nowhere. So in 94, we came to the US in August of 94. But a few months before that, we signed up for basically refugee immigration visa, and we had to go take the classes through U.S. Embassy in Croatia. They teach you all kinds of stuff about U.S., living in the U.S. I mean, anything from how grocery stores here operate to how mail is distributed, the mailbox, all that stuff. So once we completed all that, we moved to the States. We could have pretty much gone to any state we wanted in U.S., but we pretty much didn't have any uh, uh, choices from our side to pick. I mean, we really didn't care which state, so we ended up in North Carolina. Uh, so we ended up North Carolina. Had some people help us settle in. When we came to the States, nobody spoke English. There was 6 of us, immediate family. We came with $300 in our pocket. Nobody spoke English. My brother studied English some, but it wasn't that great. Uh, the school I went to, they offer foreign language, but the language that was offered was Russian. So I didn't speak a lick of English. So when we got here, kind of just got immersed into culture. And the town where we settled in, there was nobody else from the former Yugoslavia. So we didn't speak English. We didn't have anybody to translate. We just got immersed in the culture. They put me in high school right away. That was experience on its own. But within a few months, I was able to communicate with people. I mean, when you put in a culture, uh, you kind of pick up fairly quick, especially when you're a teenager. Basically, when you're forced to learn, you learn. So I finished high school, went to college, finished college. After that, I joined the U.S. Army. I was stationed at Fort Bragg. Completed my enlistment. While at Fort Bragg, I did 2 combat deployments overseas. After my military service, I got out, and this was mid 2000s. There was a lot of contracting jobs all over the place, all over the world. So I ended, instead of going back to the Middle East, I actually ended up taking a contract in Eastern Europe since I already spoke the language. So I went and did that for short amount of time. Uh, and then I decided to come back to the States, came back to the States. Really didn't know what I wanted to do for sure, if I was going to go back and do contracting or not. But one thing I always wanted to do, even as a kid, I wanted to be a police officer. So I ended up getting into law enforcement. I worked for the local police department and sheriff's department in town where I'm at, county where I'm at. Did that for 15 years. And then I got hurt in a fight and ended up getting out of that profession. So that's just kind of a brief biography of my life, how I ended up here in the States. And I do sound, I know I get a lot of questions about my accent, if it's fake and if I'm making it up. I know I speak uh, uh, basically English with the Slav accent and with Southern drawl, because I learned English in American South, so that's why I speak like this. So um, this will be it for the episode 1 of Stories from the Shed. Uh, oh, just one more thing: the name Balkan Shed. How did I come up with that name? Well, basically, where I'm at now, it's my shed behind my house. I have a shed, kind of like a lot of houses do. You keep your tools and lawnmower and stuff like that. So I spend a lot of time in my shed. I have like a work area, a bench, and I tinker with a lot of things. So since I'm from the Balkans and I spend a lot of time in the shed, I do a lot of videos in the shed. That kind of just came to me. It really wasn't planning as Balkan Shed. It kind of seemed at the time like an appropriate name. So that's the story behind Balkan Shed's name and the person behind Balkan Shed. So, I mean, I don't know if anybody's going to find interest in this. I know I had a few questions from people, from the followers over the past year about it. So that's just kind of brief summary of it. So that's it for now. I'm going to make another video about certain topic. If you have any questions, comment, make sure you comment this video, or if you have any suggestions for future videos in this segment, Story from the Shed. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.